Let me tell you about a voice. Not this voice, but the one inside. The one that whispers. It tells me what's right and what's not.
Are you religious? Do you believe in something? Anything?
Yeah, believe in me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't believe in anything else? In God, or as in, like, is there something like that?
Well, you can separate God. You know, the ancient Egyptians had a beautiful belief about death. When their souls got to the entrance to heaven, the gods asked them 2 questions. Their answers determined whether they were admitted or not. Okay. Yeah, I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. I had a long haul from where I came from to here, but...
You were telling me you have a secret to aging, that you got a little secret from Clint Eastwood. What did he tell you?
Never let the old man in.
I love that.
This channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. All contents provided by this channel is meant for educational purpose only.
Morgan Freeman, the man who made Hollywood wait. What if I told you that one of the most famous voices in Hollywood history almost never made it? What if I told you this man was broke, struggling, and pushing 50 before Hollywood finally gave him his shot? Most people know the name, most people know the voice, but almost nobody knows the real story behind Morgan Freeman. The rejection, the hunger, the decades of silence before the whole world started listening. Stay with me, because this one is going to hit different. Before we get into it, if you are new here, welcome to Celebrity Mob. This is where we tell the stories Hollywood doesn't advertise, the real lives behind the famous faces. If that sounds like something you need in your life, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on your notifications. We drop new videos every week, and trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming. Now let's get into it. June 1, 1937, Memphis, Tennessee. Morgan Porterfield Freeman Jr. enters the world during one of the hardest times in American history to be black. The Great Depression is barely over. Jim Crow laws run the South like a dictatorship. Segregation isn't just policy, it's a way of life. His family moves around constantly. Mississippi, Chicago, back to Mississippi. His mother works, his father struggles. Stability is hard to come by. But even as a little boy, Morgan has something burning inside him. He falls in love with movies, not just watching them. He wants to be in them. He wants to be the one on that screen making people feel something. At 9 years old, he wins a statewide drama competition in Mississippi. 9 years old. And he already knows. This is what he was made for. But nobody around him is talking about Hollywood careers. Nobody around him is telling a black boy from Mississippi that the silver screen has a place for him. The world is telling him to be realistic, to find something safe, something practical. Morgan Freeman heard all of that and kept dreaming anyway. When he graduates high school, Hollywood doesn't come calling. So Morgan does what a lot of young men in the 1950s do. He enlists. He joins the United States Air Force in 1955, trains as an airman, travels, sees the world from a different angle. But even inside a military uniform, the dream doesn't die. He realizes something while he's in the Air Force. He doesn't want to fly planes. He wants to act. That's it. That's the only thing that feels real to him. So when his service ends, Morgan makes a decision that takes real courage. He packs up and moves to Los Angeles. No connections, no industry contacts, no guarantee of anything, just belief in himself and a burning desire to perform. He starts taking acting classes. He studies. He works small jobs to keep the lights on. He auditions, gets rejected, auditions again, gets rejected again. Hollywood in the late 1950s and early 1960s is not exactly throwing open doors for black actors. The roles that exist are limited. The opportunities are scarce. The industry has a very specific and very narrow idea of what black talent is allowed to do on screen. But Morgan isn't built to quit. He moves to New York, starts working in theater, gets into a production here, a stage role there. He dances. He performs. He does whatever it takes to stay in the game. He lands a role on The Electric Company, a children's television show in the early 1970s. It's not glamorous, it's not Hollywood, but it keeps him working. It keeps him sharp. And Morgan Freeman treats every single role like it's the most important role of his life. Because to him, it is. This is what separates legends from everyone else. Most people would have walked away by now. Most people would have found something else to do. Morgan Freeman is well into his 30s at this point, and Hollywood still hasn't handed him anything significant. He has no Oscar buzz, no major film credits, nothing that would make you say this man is about to change cinema forever. He just keeps working, keeps learning, keeps showing up. The 1970s pass. Then the 1980s begin. And Morgan Freeman is still grinding, still auditioning, still waiting. He does Broadway, he gets better, sharper, more refined. He starts turning heads in the theater world. Critics start noticing something special about this man's presence on stage. There's a gravity to him, a stillness, a quiet power that's hard to explain but impossible to ignore. And then, finally, Hollywood gets a glimpse. Morgan Freeman is 50 years old. Let that sink in for a second. 50 years old. He lands a role in a film called Street Smart. He plays a dangerous, cunning pimp named Fast Black, and he is absolutely terrifying in it. Not loud, not over the top, just real, chillingly, disturbingly real. The performance earns him his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. The world finally turns around and looks at Morgan Freeman. He doesn't win the Oscar that night, but something even bigger happens. Hollywood finally understands what it's been sitting on all these years. This man isn't just good, he is extraordinary. And once that door cracked open, Morgan Freeman kicked it off the hinges. Now we get to the era that turned Morgan Freeman into a legend. The 1990s. Most actors have one or two defining films in their entire career. Morgan Freeman had a full decade of them. It starts with Driving Miss Daisy in 1989, right on the edge of the new decade. He plays Hoke Colburn, a chauffeur navigating the complicated relationship between a stubborn white Southern woman and her quiet dignity. The film wins Best Picture. Morgan earns his second Oscar nomination. The performance is warm, layered, and completely unforgettable. Then comes Glory in 1989. He's part of one of the most powerful war films ever made. Standing alongside Denzel Washington and Matthew Broderick, Morgan holds his own with a presence that commands every single scene. Then 1994 arrives, and Morgan Freeman has the kind of year that actors dream about their entire lives. The Shawshank Redemption. He plays Ellis Boyd Red Redding, a man who has spent decades inside a prison, a man who has watched hope come and go, a man who narrates the story of survival, friendship, and the unbreakable human spirit with a voice so deep and so warm it feels like a hand reaching through the screen to hold yours. The film isn't a massive box office hit when it first comes out, but something happens when people see it. They can't stop talking about it. They can't stop watching it. It slowly becomes one of the most beloved films ever made, and Morgan Freeman's narration is the soul of the whole thing. That same year, C7N hits theaters. He plays Detective William Somerset, a wise, weary detective chasing a serial killer through the darkness of a rain-soaked city. Alongside a young Brad Pitt, Morgan is the steady center of one of the most intense thrillers Hollywood has ever produced. Two all-time classics. Same year, same man. By the mid-1990s, Morgan Freeman isn't just a working actor anymore. He is the standard. He is the benchmark. When a filmmaker wants weight, wisdom, and authenticity, they call Morgan Freeman. Let's talk about that voice for a second, because it deserves its own conversation. There's a reason Morgan Freeman has been chosen to narrate documentaries, commercials, films, and trailers for decades. There's a reason that when you hear that voice, you stop what you're doing and listen. It's not just the tone. It's not just the depth. It's the trust it carries. When Morgan Freeman speaks, something in your brain says, this man knows something. This man has lived something. This man is telling me the truth. That voice wasn't manufactured in a recording studio. It wasn't created by vocal coaches or Hollywood magic. It was built by decades of stage work, discipline, and a man who took every single word seriously. Morgan Freeman once said that he doesn't see himself as a role model. But the truth is, whether he sees it or not, that voice has guided millions of people through stories that changed how they see the world. After all of those nominations, after all of those decades, after all of that waiting and working and refusing to give up, Morgan Freeman wins the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in 2005. $1 Million Baby. Directed by Clint Eastwood, he plays Eddie Scrap Iron Dupress, a former boxer turned trainer who watches a young fighter chase her dream while carrying quiet heartbreak of his own. He is 67 years old when he walks up to that stage and holds that Oscar in his hand. 67. The room gives him a standing ovation. And honestly, the room should have started standing the moment he walked in the building. Because this wasn't just an award for one performance. This was an award for a career that refused to be stopped. A life that refused to be defined by how long it took the world to catch up. He thanks his co-stars. He thanks Clint Eastwood. He is gracious and warm and humble, just like you would expect. But in that moment, if you were watching closely, you could see it in his eyes. The quiet satisfaction of a man who never stopped believing in himself, even when nobody else did. Morgan Freeman has been in over 100 films. He has worked with virtually every major director in Hollywood. He has played presidents, detectives, mentors, villains, and yes, even God. He narrated March of the Penguins. He narrated Through the Wormhole, a science series that ran for years because people simply loved hearing him explain the mysteries of the universe. Because somehow, Morgan Freeman makes the universe feel safe. His story is not a story about overnight success. It is not a story about being in the right place at the right time. It is not a story about luck. It is a story about what happens when talent meets relentless dedication. When a man decides that no amount of rejection, no amount of waiting, no amount of the world telling him no, is enough to make him walk away from what he was called to do. He started with nothing. No connections, no privilege, no guaranteed path forward. He just had the gift and the will to protect it until the world was ready to receive it. Morgan Freeman didn't just make it in Hollywood. He made Hollywood better. And the next time you hear that voice coming through your speakers, filling up a theater, narrating something bigger than all of us, remember where it came from. A little boy in Mississippi with a big dream and no roadmap. That's Morgan Freeman, and that story will never get old. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you. That means everything. If this story moved you, hit that like button and share it with somebody who needs to hear it today. And if you are not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Seal Mob is where the real stories live. Hit subscribe, turn on your notifications, and we will see you on the next one.